Stay tuned and let's check out this Marvel Legends The Infinity Saga Quicksilver. Pow and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And remember, you can now hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Quite simply show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends, Marvel Studios, The Infinity Saga Quicksilver, a piece we have been missing from our MCU puzzle in regards to our collections and displays for many years. Avengers Age of Ultron came out back in 2015, and for whatever reason we never got Pedro in figure form, not for the MCU anyways, so I'm finally very happy to now add him to the collection. As I said, for me it's all about getting new characters onto the display, and Pedro is a character we needed, let's be honest. The brother of Wanda Maximoff, was he Avenger? I guess he was, but yes, obviously he came to a short demise at the end of that film, but still, he was a part of it and we need the figure on our shelf. And he comes with some interchangeable hands and some pieces of the Ultron figures that they were battling in that battle in Sokovia. And yeah, again, a character we needed, let's be honest, is a gap filler that we needed on our collection, and I welcome one at that. So distribution in regards to this Infinity Saga line in the UK has been a little bit slow due to all the delays, but shout out the person who got this one to me. You know who you are. Thank you very much, and I'm very happy to add him to the shelf. So I am Team Quicksilver. So on the side of the box, we're getting that mural that we're seeing on the side of all the Infinity Saga boxes. On the back, we're getting an image or a poster from the movie that this figure is from, which I've already said, Avengers Age of Ultron. Very underrated movie, in my opinion, in regards to Avengers films. I really like that movie. And then we get a little write-up that reads, Quicksilver's ultra-high-speed capabilities are a major asset to the Avengers in the fight against Ultron. So as I said, I guess Peter was an Avenger after all. So yeah, as I said, happy to get him open, adding him to the shelf. Let's check him out. So here we have Quicksilver out of the box with all of his accessories on the table. Now I say all, he himself only comes with a set of interchangeable hands, which are for his running pose. The other accessories are more like props, if you will, as they are the pieces of the Ultron bots they were fighting in Sokovia. So I said this is fair game. What else could Peter have really came with? I'm just happy we've got the figure himself, let's be honest. So yeah, these are just an interesting packing, as there is no Build-A-Figure piece for this Infinity Saga line. So why not? These are very movie specific. You could have a character holding them, or as I said, just throw them in a diorama. So not mad about it at all, but we get a head, arm, and we'll take a closer look at it in a minute. I do actually quite like the paint. I'd love some Ultron bots in full scale, to be honest, to army build, but we'll save that conversation for as we move along. But here we have Peter. As I said, I do think the likeness is a lot better in person, and I'll show you that right now. I do think this figure is a good example of the promo images not doing it justice, because in person, I actually do see the likeness to Aaron Taylor Johnson. I think it's pretty good. Definitely so in the eyes as well. I think it's just maybe the hair that's putting us off, but we've got this sort of sculpted beard in there. I do think there is a bit of raised texture for the beard. The hair is a nice sculpt as well. This sort of quiff, these curtains are a loose sort of softer plastic, so you can move them out of the way. And if I move them out of the way, from certain angles, people, I do definitely see Aaron Taylor Johnson in there. I do think Hasbro have done a good job. I just think the promo images weren't doing it justice. But in person, it is much better than I was anticipating. So bravo, have to give credit where credit's due. So there he is in the front, looking good. Spinning around to the side, there's the side profile. Again, I think it looks like the actor. Can't be mad about it. The hair is dark with this sort of whitish grey wash all over it. So it looks a little bit like he's dyed it maybe. We don't really know what happened in the movie, but he's so quick, his hair particles have turned grey maybe. But there he is. It is comic accurate, let's be honest. But yeah, pretty good. For this face sculpt, bravo. As I said, better than I was anticipating. As we look at the rest of the figure here, we've got this sort of basketball texture across this sort of body suit, if you will, sort of like a gym shirt. Spin it round, again on the back, we get these lines this time with the blues against the grey. So you got the grey with some highlights of silver, and then the blue, the darker blue with some sort of lighter blue piping around it. And it's pretty good. Not going to lie, quite accurate as well to what we see in the movie. Well, very accurate, let's be honest. I've had 5 years to get it right. So yeah, we get this light silver line here on the sort of waist, and we get this sort of ab sort of, not crunch, but this sort of diaphragm ball. So we're going to get some decent movement there. So you can get him leaning forward a little bit, leaning back a bit. Not crazy amounts, but I don't think you need this character to do crazy amounts. He's going to be running. If anything, he's going to be a blur on your shelf. But yeah, this sort of basketball texture all the way down the arms with the silver and the different shades of blue again. On the blue, it's not so much basketball texture. It's like pinstriped. It's like lined. And that cop goes all the way down to the actual gloves as well. And I'll show you the interchangeable hands in a minute. But we get on the figure, out of the box, a set of fisted hands. So yeah, overall, I like the design. The bottom is just sort of a set of trousers, let's be honest, nothing crazy. It is a new sculpt though, as it has this sort of pattern down it. Not so sure if the light is going to catch that or not, but there is like an arrowy sort of pattern that goes all the way down the thighs, and then on the inside, we've got those sort of lines, which runs all the way down to these trainers. So the trainers are great, and then they've got a lime green sole, if it will focus for me. So you've got some treads on there as well. And the boots, well, the trainers, sorry, pretty good. In the US, you guys call them sneakers, but in the UK, they're called trainers. But yeah, you can see the laces sculpted on there, and some more details on them. But yeah, this is pretty good. This is definitely my mind's eye of MCU Quicksilver, so I can't be mad at it. That's what I want for my display. I want my mind's eye versions of these characters. I like how the blue pipe in here sort of hides that articulation for the top of the arm, because that cut is sort of into the pattern, so that works out pretty good. And the articulation overall, arms go all the way up. There is a double jointed elbow, which is pretty good. As I said, a swivel up there at the top, and the arms do swing all the way around. Of course they will. Head looks up pretty good, as he should for when he's running. Same looking down. He can bury his chin quite a lot. So when you're getting him in running poses, you can like get him looking up maybe. Already showed you the diaphragm sort of joint. It does swivel there, but there is also a swivel at the top of the trousers or the pants if you're in the US. Still weird that you guys call trousers pants. So yeah, there's a swivel there. And then the legs go out pretty far, pretty good. That's pretty good. And double jointed knees, that's not bad at all either. He will kick his ass if you force him to, but as I said, that's sort of the natural pose for it. And there's the knees. I think the sculpt for the trousers is pretty good as well, because let's be honest, you want to pose up dynamically. I like sometimes when you get the opportunity to pose a figure in their power, like displaying their ability, and Quicksilver runs. So can we get him in a running pose? Yes, you can. That was simple as enough. Do you know what I mean? I'm not the guy you go to for posing, but there we go. Quicksilver is doing a nice running pose. So again, get him on a stand maybe, or maybe he'll balance like that. Let's see if he'll balance. Yes, he will balance. I'm scared to breathe in the same building as him, but he does balance. I wouldn't recommend displaying him this way because he will fall. So maybe get yourself a stand or some glue tack and put him on the shelf. But I do think it's really nice when you can display characters with their abilities, just like Pedro here. So, as I said, in regards to accessories, all he has is these interchangeable hands, and they're probably going to be better for posing. So there you go, a set of hands where he's sort of doing like gun fingers, if you will. Maybe he's in a gang. But there you go. And that pattern from the t-shirt actually goes all the way onto these hands as well, which are pretty good. The same for the fisted hands as well. That's got that same texture from the t-shirt, just with the fingertips showing. So I'm not mad about that at all. That's pretty good. I like options. So obviously this will be a much better sort of hand gesture to get him when he's running, maybe. Even though I quite like the fists. When you run, what pose is your hand doing? I guess they're sort of outright, maybe. So yeah, again, maybe better that way round. There you go. So yeah, Quicksilver's pretty good. Definitely a character I've been wanting for the collection for a long time. So very happy now to get him added. And yeah, I think he looks really good. In person, this is better than the promo pictures seem. So honestly, give it a chance if you're on the fence, especially if you're an MCU collector. He's a character that you need. So yeah, this is looking good. But he does come with some other things. So you get 3 Ultron bot pieces. These are sort of more props, if you will. And I like these, I'm not going to lie. So here we have the Ultron bot spine and sort of head. And yeah, I would love full-scale Ultron bot army builders. I'm not going to lie, we haven't had any MCU army builders at all. And apart from Chitauri, I would love some Ultron bots as well to sort of go along and pose with my Ultron, as it is what they're fighting in the second movie, which again, as I said, underrated. So there we get a spine and the skull attached to the spine. You can definitely get a character holding that for display. That would be pretty good. We got this arm, which I thought had articulation in it because of this, but the sculpt work is very nice, all these mechanical pieces, but there is no articulation. This is all one solid piece. And again, these are just broken pieces of an Ultron. But yeah, again, the sculpt is there, people. Let's start putting it together and build ourselves an Ultron. And then we get this torso piece. with some wires sticking out of it, or metal pieces. We see the spine on the back there. And I love the paintwork on these, I'm not going to lie. So it's like a black with like a chrome sort of dry brush or wash. Either way, this looks really good and just makes me want some full-scale Ultron bots. But these are just pack-ins that you can throw in your display, or props for a diorama, or as I said, put them at the feet of your Ultron Prime that we have had as a Build-A-Figure, and that Ultron was re-released in the 10th anniversary line. So yeah, just throw them on the display. They can just be on the floor sitting around your Age of Ultron display, but a nice little pack-in that comes with Pedro. Let's get into some comparisons, but first let's just check out the height of Pedro. He is about 6¼ inches, so we should scale nicely with our other MCU figures. The first comparison we have to do is, of course, with Wanda, his sister. And yeah, we never got an Age of Ultron version of Wanda, unfortunately. So I believe this is the Civil War look for Wanda. This is the version in the 2-pack with Vision. So this is the one with the updated Elizabeth Olsen face scan, not the version we got in the Abomination Build-A-Figure. So this is the better version. I think this is the closest pairing you're going to get to an accurate version of Wanda and Peter together for the MCU shelf. Maybe one day we get an Age of Ultron Wanda, but I doubt it now, because obviously Wanda's been in WandaVision, she's going to be in Doctor Strange. And talking about WandaVision, here we have the Scarlet Witch from the WandaVision show. So there you go. So there we have Peter with his twin sister ×2. So you can pick your preference for display, but as I said, Peter is very much a one and done movie type of guy. He wasn't in WandaVision, even after all those rumours. So yeah, for me, I think it's best to pose these two together if you're building an Age of Ultron display, even though that's not even 100% accurate either, but it's the closest we've got, people. But you let me know what you think in the comments below. Another character we never really got an accurate look for in Age of Ultron is, of course, Hawkeye. And of course, Peter saved Hawkeye, so you have to pay tribute. This is, I believe, Avengers 1 look for Hawkeye. It doesn't even have the digital face printing for Jeremy Renner. Hopefully we'll get more Hawkeye figures now we've got that Hawkeye TV show confirmed with the Disney Plus figures. But yeah, like Wanda, this is probably the closest you're going to get to building an Age of Ultron display in regarding to adding these characters and putting them together on the shelf. These two, on the other hand, I would argue are quite accurate to Age of Ultron. We've got Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow, of course, and then we've got Chris Evans, Steve Rogers, Captain America, and I do believe these two, that came in the 4-pack, that was an Amazon exclusive, and I think he was single-packed around the time. So yeah, I think this is probably the best version of these two. Actually, this is the 10th anniversary version. That's why it's got the updated head sculpt, which is very nice. That's not even got the digital face printing of Scarlett Johansson. So again, because this film, just think it came out over 6 years ago now, Marvel Legends have upgraded themselves quite a bit since then. So you're going to have to mix and match your figures on the display to create the most accurate version, that sort of capsule of time for Age of Ultron. But I'll tell you who we do have. It is, of course, Ultron himself, and he scales over Peter as he should. And this is where you can have some fun and sort of on the display, just throw in some of these accessories on the floor around Ultron or whatever you want to do. That's probably what I'm going to do for my display. But again, this is the re-release version in the 10th anniversary wave, not the Build-A-Figure. You can tell because he's got the red deco on his face and he's got deco on his back, unlike the Build-A-Figure version. I think I sold that one eventually. But yeah, so here we have our Age of Ultron with our Age of Ultron Quicksilver. These two I can confidently say are accurate to the movie. For a quick comic comparison, get it? Quicksilver's? Never mind. Here we have the MCU Quicksilver compared to the comic Quicksilver from the Family Matters 3-pack, and they scale about the same size, and I do always like to see the comic versus MCU when we can, and you can see where they've pulled the influence from with the blues and then the white hair. Looking good. And finally, last but by no means least, here we have Quicksilver compared to Worthy. How? Fire. Hank. So, final thoughts. I'm obviously very happy to be finally adding Quicksilver to my MCU collection. 6 years since the movie was released, and I now have a Pedro Maximoff to add to my shelf. So yeah, we're going to have to create a hodgepodge of figures to get an Age of Ultron display, but I think we can make it happen. And there was no way I was going to get Quicksilver in a running pose on my tiny rotating base. So that's why he's standing there, but still, standing there, he looks good. And again, he's an example of a figure that you need to to get in person before you make your final decision, because the promo images are not doing that face sculpt any justice. In person, I definitely see the likeness to Aaron Taylor-Johnson. Even if it's just a little bit, it's definitely more so there in person than it was in the promo images. And the figure overall, let's be honest, I've had 6 years to get it accurate, and I think they've got it spot on. So I'm very happy to finally have that missing jigsaw piece to my MCU collection. He's one of many more we still need, but again, he's an important one from Age of Ultron. A very underrated movie. I don't think I've said that enough. Age of Ultron needs to be shown more love. It's a great film. It's where we got Vision, Scarlet Witch, of course, and look at those two characters now. They had their own TV show, and we wouldn't have had that if we didn't have Age of Ultron first. So you got to give Josh Whedon some credit there. But yeah, you let me know what you think in the comments below. First and foremost, that is the most important thing. What do you think of Quicksilver? Are you going to be adding him to the collection? Are you happy to finally get him? Are you Team Quicksilver? Are you Team Serda? Let the fight begin in the comments below. I still haven't got Serda yet, but so far I'm Team Quicksilver because they're the only one I have in hand. So there you go. But as I said, as always, people, if you like Marvel Legends, then you're in the right place. Please, please, please hit that subscribe button. Much appreciated. You can now hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Quite simply show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. You can follow me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. I'm on Twitter at Dan Who Reviews. And until then, people, I shall see you on the next one.